What's up, gamers and collectors? DGC back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a retrospective look at the Wii U, its launch, some of my favorite memories with it, the games, the potential that it had, and all that good stuff. And we got a special guest today.
Hey there, fools. Big T here, and I'm back once again on another DGC video. I love collaborating with my boy DGC. Thanks again for having me back. And let's talk about the Wii U.
Yeah, Mizzah Tee's back. Alright, let's check it out. Alright guys, so in 2011 when Nintendo finally unveiled the Wii U, to say that I was excited would be an understatement. I hadn't really been that excited since probably, I guess since the Wii got announced, and then the Wii kind of disappointed me a little bit. I was a teenager when that came out. I day one camped out at Toys R Us for the Wii. Gamecube's my favorite system, so going from Cube being on par with PS2 and Xbox, and then to the Wii being kind of, well, less graphically powerful, you know, it didn't bode well for me during its generation. However, now I'm coming to love the Wii, finding a lot of good games here for that lately. But today we're talking about the Wii U. So yeah, it came out. I got that day one as well. I live on the East Coast. America got it first, so I was probably one of the first people to, you know, outside of the press, to turn that bad boy on and play it and unbox it and do all that stuff. That was 2012, long before I had the channel, so there's no unboxing of that from me, unfortunately. But I just remember opening up the package, and Nintendo had the two little half shelves that they put in the box, and you'd pull it out for the Wii and the Wii U. And I just remember pulling that out and just seeing the pad for the first time in person, and then seeing the size of the Wii U console itself, and just really kind of being amazed by the fact that it was basically an HD DS on the TV is what the Wii U pretty much was. It was a Wii combined with the DS essentially into one home unit. And to me, I would say the Wii U was the last true Nintendo home console, obviously. And then also I would say it was probably the last true home console, period, in the sense that all of its games can be played off the discs. There's no downloads, day one patches, there's not a overabundance of DLC for the console. It's really just kind of a pick up and play console. So for anybody jumping into the Wii U now, I can't recommend it enough. I'm not going to lie to you and sugarcoat it and say that there's tons of games for it. And if you own a Switch already, then there's really no point in buying a Wii U at this point. I'm being honest about it. But if you want to play these games in a different manner, in a different way, with a different controller, there's just a different feel to the Wii U altogether. I mean, just holding that controller, like if you've never held one, you would think it's probably heavy and cumbersome, but it's actually one of the most comfortable controllers you're ever going to hold. It's very lightweight. It's just overall a really great, you know, controller, and just the potential that it added to games. You know, I remember Alien Isolation, or no, Alien Colonial Marines is what it was. I remember that. I actually am an oddball. I really love Colonial Marines and Alien Isolation, but Colonial Marines was initially going to be a launch window title for the system, and then inevitably it didn't come. And what would have been cool about it was, you know, if you've watched the Alien movies, you could sit there and watch the little whatever Ripley's alien scanner thing was, and that would be on the gamepad, and then your main game would be on your screen. And you know, that was just kind of a cool idea. And then I remember Crisis 3 was going to be a title. They had that game fully running on the console. And that kind of brings me into another point, that a lot of the developers, I think, were just being straight up lazy. The Wii U is damn near just as powerful as the Switch. A little bit less so, but damn near close, and it's definitely more powerful than the 360 and the PS3 by a good margin. A lot of people seem to forget that. I believe so. The graphics have 1 gig of RAM, and then the CPU has 1 gig of RAM, whereas the CPU RAM also runs a lot of the background stuff and the Wiiverse and the Miiverse and Waro Waro Plaza and all those different random things, which unfortunately are no longer available on the Wii U. And it sucks that many gamers in the future, from now till the end of, you know, when the last Wii U dies, gamers won't be able to experience the Miiverse and, you know, the Animal Crossing Plaza and just all the different little fun things that made the Wii U very unique. You could you know, you could draw pictures and send notes to your friends, and it was just kind of like a little online community hub in the Wii U, and it was just exciting. You would see people talking about games, and then you could you know, pause a game, for instance, and then be like, you know, take a screenshot and then upload it, and this is how I got to this treasure chest on Wind Waker, this is how I did this, or this is how I did that. Or example again, with Wind Waker, you could put messages in the bottles and then send them out to sea, and then it would show up on the Miiverse, and it was just really special. It was just really cool, and a lot of people just ragged on it because, like, for example, when you would log on to, I think it was the initial eShop for the Wii U, you'd log on and it had like a globe and it had a bunch of kids like circling around it, and it just kind of had childish music to it. And Nintendo's kind of had this moniker of always being a kiddie system for quite a while now. I would say it kind of started with the N64 because that's when they lost the third party, but the Wii U definitely didn't differ from that. Like, if you look at the full Wii U library, which I do have, I would say a strong 60% of it is shovelware, movie tie-in games, and just other, you know, Lego games, and a bunch of kiddie games, and Just Dance games, and, you know, a bunch of just really not great games. I'll be honest with you, but the treasures that it does have are, you know, they're really awesome. And then let's jump into some games here, and then we'll hand it off to Mizzah Tee, see what he's got and what he thought about the Wii U over its lifespan. So I'm sure you can already see this beautiful bad boy right here. This is my Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD Collector's Edition. Is it Collector's or... Oh, Limited Edition is what they call this. So this comes with a very nice Ganondorf. It is open. The Ganondorf I have taken out. And then this variant comes with the shiny slip insert for the game. If you see the shiny one, it came from this and the initial print that wasn't in the limited edition. Later on, it did receive a standard edition with, you know, not holographic. And then there was also actually a Nintendo Select, so there's technically 3 versions of this, and then 4 if you count this. The Wind Waker is my favorite Zelda, being that I'm a Gamecube aficionado. So when they announced this for the Wii U, I was blown away. Played through this within the first 3 or 4 days of owning it, and I just had an absolute blast with this. Can't say enough about this. Like, yeah, this is available on the GameCube, but clearly this is the definitive version at this point. It's 1080p. They added a bunch of shadow effects to it, and back in the day, I remember when Wind Waker came out and everybody was harping on the art style, and they wanted the ultra realistic Ocarina of Time art style. And, you know, we didn't get that. We got this, but Ocarina of Time, if they were to upscale that, you know, to 1080p, it would probably look decent, but it would probably look pretty terrible at best. But this, upscaled to 1080p, it really just upscales very well with the cartoony, cel-shaded graphics, and it's just such an amazing experience because you sit there and you can see the maps on your screen, and it's just a wonderful experience on the Wii. It's been many years since I've played this again on the Wii U. I think this came out like 2014, I think it was. I don't see a copyright on here anywhere, but I'm pretty confident it was 2014. And so this was a huge part of the Wii U's life for me to get this and replay it again, and just had an absolute blast with it. And you could sit there and do the music on the gamepad with the little Wind Waker, and just an absolute blast to play this game. And it sucks that the low glass bottles for the Miiverse are now gone and you can't do that anymore, but for anybody that did enjoy that, you know what I'm talking about. So the launch title / pack-in for the system was Nintendo Land. This is a really great game. It was really 9 games. Is it 9? No, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's actually got 12 games. I thought it was 9. So this is really kind of a compilation thing. So the ones that I really truly enjoyed were the Zelda Battle Quest, the Pikmin Adventure, the Metroid Blast, the Animal Crossing was okay, the Luigi's Mansion is fun with friends, the Mario Chase is fun with friends, the Yoshi one's okay, the Octopus Dance, meh, the Donkey Kong Crash Course, that shit is tight. The Ninja one, so that was, they showed off with the, you know, where you throw the ninja stars at the little cartoon ninja people. The Captain Falcon F-Zero one was pretty fun. So essentially you'd be racing normally on the screen, but then on the gamepad you'd be looking at like a top-down view. Really cool. And then they redid the balloon fight, I believe is what it was called on the NES. They, you know, 2.5D'd it on this, and you played the balloon fight. And all these are really great games. And I mean, honestly, this is probably the most printed game for the Wii U, but not a lot of people talk about this, and it's such a wonderful game. Can't recommend this one enough. I truly can't. Alright, now next up we got Pikmin 3 for the Wii U. This is probably my favorite Wii U game other than Wind Waker. I absolutely loved this game. This is one of the very few games. I've 100%ed maybe 5 or less games in my life. Not really a big fan of doing that. This one though, when I put it in, I had to 100% this game. Had an absolute blast with this. Like I couldn't put it down. Such a wonderful game. Some of the better graphics on the system are in this game. We're still waiting on Pikmin 4 depending on what time you're watching this video. Just a blast to play this game. And again, this came out in a Nintendo Selects version, so you can get this really cheap. Beautiful game. Probably never going to be ported to anything else. The best way to play this game though is with the Wiimote and the nunchuck for the better precise controls, and then set up the gamepad like in front of you somewhere, and then you have a nice little map screen, and then you're playing on the screen, and then you got the nice accurate controls with the Wiimote and nunchuck. Oh man, this is a shining example of what the Wii U's potential was with you know, the control schemes that it could do and was capable of. Just an absolute blast to play this. And that brings me up to something I wanted to mention. A few games that really just would have been awesome to play on the Wii U, like if they had done like a World of Warcraft collection or something, or like StarCraft 2 on there with all the expansion passes and stuff. I'm kind of surprised that no one ever took advantage of trying to do that on the Wii or the Wii U with the Wiimote and nunchuck, to have like RTSs and stuff, where you can sit there and kind of like draw, like hold B and like select all your units and then like hit A to like send them there. So you basically be left and right on the mouse pad, but you'd be kind of doing it with the motion control. And I'm really surprised no one ever really did a lot of RTSs for that kind of stuff. And I don't know if it's necessarily possible with the Switch Joy-Cons. But and then another big title that came out for the Wii U that was something that I don't really think will ever leave the Wii U is Mario 3D World. Now in that game, that came out very early in the lifespan of the Wii U, in that game you had the Captain Toad Adventure little side missions. There was probably about 10 or 12 of them. I fell in love with those missions. So therefore, one of my favorite games for the Wii U is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. When this game came out, I beat this in the first weekend. Like, I only played this 2 or 3 times, like, to beat it, because I was just so hooked. I was doing each mission, and they're not really difficult, but just the art style to it, the visuals, it's just such a great game. The puzzles are very unique and fun. And you can play this on the Switch as well, obviously, and it has a little bit more levels to it, but really great game here. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Absolutely love this game. Can't recommend this one enough. Alright, we got 2 more here. Now, this was a new IP that came out for the Wii U, and the second one also was a very close launch window title for the Switch, Splatoon. There was a lot of skepticism about this game, and just people weren't sure if this was going to be something, if it was going to live up to the Nintendo hype, because prior to this, I think the newest big IP that they had launched would have been Pikmin on the Gamecube, as far as something that they really wanted to have some longevity and some legs to the series. But Splatoon, I mean, we were proven wrong. This is a blast to play this. Even still, people play this one online. Obviously, Splatoon 2 is basically the same game, but a little bit more superior in the sense that it's got more maps and guns and costumes, and the controls are more fine-tuned and this and that. But Splatoon 2, whew, when this came out, I was working at a grocery store in the deli. This was, what year was this? This was 2015, so that was about 4 years ago. Interesting time in my life, but I remember just being so hyped for this game, and I got off work and then went and picked it up, and I was talking about it all day at work, and then I was working with a bunch of old people basically in the deli, and they were like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? Splatoon, Inklings, splatting people. But yeah, just an absolute blast to play this game. And then this, this had amiibo support in it, and amiibos were a big part of the Wii U, and I'm going for a full amiibo set. If you weren't aware of that, I'm about 10 or 15 away from the entire set of having all of them. Really love the amiibos too. But I had a blast playing Splatoon. It was just such a wonderful experience playing this, and yeah, again, it looks kiddie, but like, this takes some skill to be good at this game. It really does. Now, the last game that I'm going to be talking about today is a banger, Devil's Third. Alright, so in the future, this will be regarded as a very underrated game. Yes, it's buggy as shit. it's only ever going to be on the Wii U. I highly doubt Nintendo owns this. They're never going to put it on anything else because they didn't even have faith in this game, period, when it came out. This initially launched with 4,000 units. I did pre-order this the day you were able to at GameStop. They opened my copy, and when I got there, they only got one copy, and I was pissed. What day did this come out? Let's see. This came out 12/12/15, so right around Christmas time, 2015. I remember picking this up being so excited because the multiplayer for this looked absolutely badass. It had like a custom map editor and all sorts of different the game modes and different things of that nature that you could do in the game, and then the single player looked pretty badass. So this is developed by the main director, I guess you would say, or producer of it was Itagaki. He's the Dead or Alive Ninja Gaiden guy. He used to work for, he essentially made Team Ninja for Tecmo, and then they parted ways, and then he tried to get this published on the 360, and then it kind of died out, and then Nintendo picked it up because they really needed exclusives on the Wii U to sell the system, and I guess someone higher up thought that this was going to sell. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Iwata and Itagaki kind of had some kind of friendship, and they wanted him to he basically just hooked his buddy up essentially to let him see his baby be born on a console, and I'm forever grateful to have been able to play this game online. Really special to play this game online. They had like these weird chicken hats and just all sorts of different things you could do in this game, and the controls are very terrible in this game. So if you're familiar with the channel, I do the backlog challenges periodically. I kind of used to do them a lot, now I don't, but I did a backlog challenge just amongst my friends a while ago, through YouTube friends, and this was one of the games I picked. And my buddy Virtua Bros, he basically kind of nagged me to finish this game because he was like, "Look, Alex, like I know it's a pain in the ass and the game controls terrible and this and that, but like you'll really enjoy it." And at the end of the day, I had an absolute blast playing this. This game is tough as balls because the controls are so broken. The bosses are just they're just monsters. They have too much health and they're just too hard to defeat. The last boss in the game, no spoilers, but the last boss in this game is probably one of the hardest bosses I've ever fought in all of gaming that I've done. Such a hard boss to beat that game, but it was very rewarding to finish the game because I did it, he bugged me to finish it and come on, do it, you can do it, and then like I streamed it privately with them, and they were like, all right, you can do this, Alex, and so eventually I did end up beating the game, and I had an absolute blast playing the story, and just the multiplayer, it really was just, I wish people had played this. I mean, I almost wish this had come out multiplayer and it might have done better, or if it at least the full game had come out on the PC as well. The multiplayer came out on the PC for a very small window of time. Nobody picked it up. I didn't even know that it had come out for the PC. I knew that it was going to, but I didn't know that it already had, and then by the time I figured it out, it was already gone. But just a really underrated game right here. Just can't recommend this one enough. If you somehow run into a copy of this, around $40-ish, I would definitely recommend picking up. It'll always retain its value. I don't know that this is ever going to be super expensive and rare, but it is a really one-of-a-kind experience because it's got melee combat in it, and it's got guns and RPGs and grenades. And the story is very Ninja Gaiden-esque in the sense that you've got monsters, and you'll figure out the story once you play it. But and obviously with Itagaki, you got some huge gazangas going on in the whole game, and just the beginning mission, he's sitting there pounding on some drums, and he's just going nuts with it, and he's got these tattoos that glow, and then you go like Super Saiyan basically, and each boss fight is very unique, and it's just I can't say enough about that one, and this is why I held this one off till the end here. But I've yabbered on for almost 22 minutes at this point, so let's let Mizzah Tee take it over from here.
Hey there, fools. Let me tell you, I was so hyped going into this console's launch. I don't remember being this hyped probably since before the N64 happened, which is kind of funny because at first I wasn't hyped for the N64. It was a friend of mine, my boy Carl. He got me hyped again for Nintendo because I was kind of thinking I wasn't going to be playing video games anymore, and I'm not going to, do that. And yeah, he changed my mind on that real quick. But yeah, the Wii U, it was very cool to have that feeling again of wonder and excitement for what could be, like, because with the controller, like, all kinds of ideas ran through my head, and being a creative type, and I thought that was like the motivation for why Nintendo made this thing, because they wanted to, like, really get creative with it. And I just remember, days going up to it, I was telling people about the Wii U who didn't even care about video games. Like, that's what I meant by, like, going back to how I felt about N64 and how I felt in high school thinking about that thing. And I was just telling people who didn't care, who could give a rat's ass about video games, and trying to convince them to jump on board, how cool it was going to be with all the features and stuff, like even the TV stuff kind of had me excited. So I just remember just being giddy about it, just like, it was almost like Christmas where you can't wait, it's hard to sleep. And I just remember that happening. But I remember like the E3 beforehand, my hype might have died a little bit because of the anticipation of what games might come. So I was hoping we get, a new 3D Mario with it, but that didn't happen. So I just want to talk about like the games that I got at launch, and what was I excited about, and just kind of how I evolved, basically with my excitement for the Wii U. All right, so let's get into the games that either surprised me or I really enjoyed, or I was looking forward to getting on my Wii U. And most of them, if not all of them, I think are third-party games. So let's get into them. So the first game is Tekken Tag 2 Wii U edition. I was very excited to get this because of all the Nintendo stuff they implemented, with the Mario costumes and all kinds of craziness going on. And I've always been a Tekken fan. And yeah, I wanted me a fighting game. I wanted variety on my Wii U at launch, so I definitely picked this up. Me and about 20 other people, because the game didn't sell that well, unfortunately. It's a great port. It's a great game. So if you have a Wii U and you're looking for something for your collection, definitely get this. Had a lot of fun with this, with friends, family, and I played a lot of them actually online in the beginning. Kind of fell off because there wasn't a lot of people to play online, but it is what it is. But yeah, this is a really cool game for Wii U. Definitely check it out with the cool Mario, like I said, Mario aesthetics, Mario costumes and all that stuff that's built into this game. Pretty cool. Next up is a game in a series that is super underrated. Started out on the DS, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it was the DS, maybe 3DS, but I think it was DS. And it's very underrated. And that game is Scribblenauts Unlimited. Definitely pick this up at launch. Love these games. They're so freaking creative and fun. And I just wish more people knew about them and played them. I think they did decently well on the handheld, but not a lot of people picked this up on Wii U in the beginning, which, there was a lot of games at Wii U's launch. It was hard to like have a standout game, and Scribblenauts Unlimited, you can get this for super cheap. I think there is either a bundle coming to Switch or is already out, not really sure, for this and Unmasked, which is the DC superhero stuff. Really cool. These games are dope, man. Like, they're puzzly. You kind of write words and things instantiate from that. Really cool series. Definitely check this game out. And next on my list is a game that I waited a year to get. As a huge DC fanboy, that was tough to do, but I wanted to see what that new controller could do. Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. I was so excited to have this game, and it lived up to the potential, I think, of what the Wii U controller was all about. It felt like I was Batman. I had all Batman's gadgets, basically at the touch of my fingers and my fingertips on the Wii U gamepad. And, it was just more intuitive to me, especially like the detective stuff that you do in the game and just swapping out weapons. It was very, very intuitive. And this is the stuff that I think the Wii U really needed in more games to, let people know about that gamepad advantage, man, because it was a great advantage to play games, at least as far as I'm concerned, to play games. Some people act like, oh, I can't do two screens at once. These guys have like, 3-screened PCs at home where they're working and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Crazy to me, but anyway, this game, I love this game. I know there was like frame rate issues. I honestly never, at the time that I played this game, don't remember them all that well. But you know, it is what it is. I guess people complained about that. I didn't see them too much, so I love this game. The cool new features and stuff. I paid, you know, the full $60 when this game was probably 30 or 40 around that time. But like I said, I wanted that gamepad advantage, and this game really brought that out. So dope game. And this next game is a game that I also waited for a while. It was started off as something else and ended up something completely different. The game that it originally started off as was Killer Freaks from Outer Space, and it became Zombiu, which is one of the best Wii U games out there, one of the best utilizations of the Wii U gamepad. That gamepad advantage again took really good advantage of that controller, and this is the type of stuff that got me really excited for the Wii U at the beginning. And yeah, I just wish there was more of this, but this game is dope, frightening as hell, really clever concept, hard but not crazy, not to where it's just like cheap or whatever. It's a really good game. And I just wish more stuff like this came out on Wii U. Dope game. And last but not least on my list, you know, there was no like 3D Mario at the launch of Wii U. There was no Zelda game. And this game really filled that void for me, that Zelda big adventure void. And that is Darksiders 2. Yo, I played Darksiders on 360 before this, the first game. And I really enjoyed that. And I was just really excited when I saw your boy on the back of a horse, and just like, oh, are they really going for that Zelda feel? And this game really did that. It felt like a somewhat darker Twilight Princess style game, you know, with differences obviously, and dope. Like, I love this game from beginning to end. And again, one of the great features of this game was its implementation with the gamepad. Being able to micromanage and all that stuff on the gamepad, you know, just look at all my, you know, whatever, all my tools and my stats and just my abilities and whatnot, and just be able to look at that stuff and not pause and, you know, slow my game down and just be able to just keep going through, having fun that way. Very good. The implementation of the gamepad for this game is great. This is how I wanted a lot more games on Wii U to do, wanted them to be, and unfortunately that's not the case. But man, this game did it very well. And look at my list. My list is all third-party games. A lot of people complain and cry about how you know, Wii U didn't have this third-party, that and this and that. Obviously most of that stuff was in its first year. These games are all launch titles, so there's that. But the potential was there, man. It was great. Losing these things did not hurt my overall as far as the Wii U, because mostly what I got out of Wii U is the really cool first party stuff and the stuff that nobody else is doing, like what this game did with the gamepad. But obviously I wish it had done a lot more of that type of stuff for what it was, for the console it was, for bringing me exclusive content, for bringing me, you know, experiences I couldn't get anywhere else. It was great at that, and I wish it had done more, but it was really good at that. And for me, that is, you know, over justification for its existence. So yeah, that's my initial, you know, thoughts and my initial memories of the Wii U's launch. I was super excited about the console. It's still one of my all-time favorite consoles, and I'm definitely happy that it's a console in my collection. And for me, nothing will ever take away the greatness that it was, and my experiences with that console over the years. So thanks again, DGC, for having me on. I always have fun doing this, and maybe you'll come back on my channel.
All right, Mizzah Tee, that was great to hear your thoughts on the Wii U. I really believe that we're kind of on the same wavelength here with loving the Wii U as much as we do. I would be more than delighted to come on and do a collab on your channel. So definitely check out the description for his channel if you aren't already subscribed to Mizzah Tee. He has some great content on his channel. So this is a new series that I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to essentially take retrospective looks at each console that I own with other YouTubers. So if you feel so inclined to join in on the fun and do one of these with me with any various console that you know that I have, I can share my initial experiences and favorite games with these consoles, and you can as well. I feel like it could be a fun community event to share our experiences with some of these great consoles that we have. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. It's about a half an hour long, but I enjoyed making this with Mizzah Tee. It's been a blast doing this. It's been a long time in the kind of planning this out and stuff, but we got some good stuff coming on the channel in the future, so definitely hit that like button for me, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you later, guys.
Come here, you mother...